Hello, my name is Ellie Crow from The Cozy Crow and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be starting this vlog where I'm opening the summer book society box from Woolberry Fiber Co. If you haven't seen, I've been doing this every season that this book society box has come out. So I have a winter video as well as a spring video. Bethany is doing one box for every season of the year, and I'm planning on doing a big project using the yarns from all of these book and yarn boxes together in a blanket. And so today we are on the third season, our summer box, and I'm going to be opening it up for you today. Later on in this video, you're also going to see me reading the book, opening the yarn, enjoying the goodies, and even working on the pattern a little bit. But if you haven't seen my other videos, so you can get more of an introduction on what this book society box is and what pattern I'm making, make sure to check out those links down below. Smudgy glasses. The last box had some really weird mail issues, and so I ended up getting it later than I was expecting, and so I'm really happy to see this in the mail. I'm so excited to open it up. I already undid the packaging, so let's hop right in and see what's inside. So for this book box, there's going to be 4 skeins of yarn packaged up with numbers on them so that when you get to that page number in the book, you open that yarn and it's associated with that page. So a super fun way to be motivated to read. I don't know what the book is, but it's included in this box. So we'll open that up and we'll see what other goodies are free in the box. The way that this box works is that all the goodies are unwrapped and available so you can enjoy them at the very beginning of your experience opening the box. Whereas another box I've done through Yarnicious Fibers, they have all of the goodies also packaged up and associated with page numbers so that as you read the book, you're constantly opening packages and getting different types of goodies. Both ways are really fun and I like having the variety. So let's jump right in. Cute! Oh my gosh, this tissue paper. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna look at the other goodies first. Maybe this is labeled by chapter? 6, 16, 24, and 33. I don't think those are page numbers. I think those may be chapter numbers. So that's a little different. Some shortbread cookies. Yummy. Some kind of notion. What's in here? Oh my gosh, these are adorable. Look, little lemon stitch stoppers. Oh my gosh, those are freaking cute. There's some OT.co's white peach oolong. It doesn't say anything about caffeine, and it just says oolong tea. So I'm not sure. I'll have to double check and see if it is caffeinated, if it's black or green tea, which I don't drink. If I'm not going to drink this, I'm going to take it to work and leave it in the break room. I'm sure someone would enjoy it. Oh, this is all wrapped up too. Let's see. What is this? Oh, cute! A plate. That is so fun. This is from Danica Heirloom. Dishwasher microwave safe. Heck yeah. I feel like it might be handmade with the way the glaze is. Ooh, cool. Oh my goodness. Time to open this book. See what mystery book it is. We'll just do that. It feels like it's a hardcover. What? I've literally never heard of this book. Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame, a novel. I literally know nothing about this. Oh, and a cute bookmark. Cute, cute. Ooh, actually, this kind of looks like my house. Not entirely, but similar vibes. Cute. An unforgettable heroine comes of old age in this huge-hearted story of lifelong love, unexpected stardom, and good food. Okay, so this sounds like a general fiction of someone basically getting selected to participate in a baking show, but because of baking's connection with her past and some tender moments that she's experienced, she kind of has a lot of nostalgia and is thrown back to what her life was before, something like that. What I really love about these book boxes is that in a lot of ways this is prompting me to read books I never would have picked up otherwise, or that I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to read. And so this is an extra push to get me to read it. And so I'm really excited to have a book I've not heard anything about. I don't even know when this was published, probably recently if it's a hardcover. It was published this year, so I wonder if Bethany had an arc, or she read it at the very beginning of the year maybe. I'll have to look into this. I am really excited. I haven't heard anything about this book. I've heard nothing about this author. I need to do a little digging and learning because I'm very curious. Also, the colors. This is a very summery book. So for the other Book Society boxes, the first one was One Day in December by Josie Silver. I've heard of her as a romance author. I'd not read her before that book, and I had feelings about it. I'm not sure if she's the romance author for me. I'll probably try her one more time and see, but it just might not be the vibe for me and what I like in my romances. But I was aware of Josie Silver. And then the next book was Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice from Murderers by Jessie Q. Satanto, I think is her last name. And I had that on my radar. I knew that I would want to read that eventually, but I wasn't in any hurry to do it, so it was a really good push to get me to read it. This book I know zero things about, so I'm going to learn a little bit about that and do some investigating, and we'll get started on this book soon. Yay! I have to read to chapter 6 though in order to start opening these packages, so it'll be a minute before I can show off some yarn. Oh, are you gonna stack everything? So I've been slowly but surely making a little bit of progress on this book. I am not feeling good. So husband is taking Georgia for a little bit and I am gonna rest. I am on chapter 6. I've not started reading it yet. For the first skein, the chapter 6 skein, I want to finish chapter 6 first so that I understand whatever reference it talks about. So I think I'm gonna try to read chapter 6, open the skein, and then take a nap. Because I do not feel good. Temperature all over the place, like I'm fevering, I've got chills, and then I'm super hot and sweaty, and I'm just like not feeling good. My throat is all sore. I don't know who I got sick from, but I am definitely sick and not feeling it today. Right, so I'm about 75 pages into Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame by Olivia Ford, and just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in this book because I haven't really talked about it much. I'm feeling much better than I was a day or two ago. It was just like a really quick fever thing going on. I was not feeling good. I'm feeling better, still kind of tired, but on the up and up. Hi Alfred, are you joining me? So Mrs. Quinn is in her 70s, 77 I think, and she feels like she hasn't really done anything big, like no big accomplishments. I don't know if she had a career at one point or what's going on. I don't know all of her backstory, but you do hear that she and her husband do not have children, and that's kind of a sore spot for them, something that they always longed to have. And so you see that threaded throughout the book already. She loves to bake. She bakes every day, and she feels like baking is a way to remember her ancestors, both like recent and like more distant ancestors as well. So you see little snippets of her past baking with those that she loves or people in her family and the memories that she has associated with certain recipes and with certain people, which is really interesting. This is definitely a slower book. It's more atmospheric. It's very descriptive about the process of baking. So I feel like this might be a really good audiobook to listen to while you are actually baking. But for me, it's been a little bit slower. I know my brain's been a bit fuzzy because of my fever, so I'm hoping to get into it a little bit more. I am on chapter 9, I think. Yes, chapter 9. The next skein of yarn is to be opened with chapter 16. So I'm kind of hoping to get there this afternoon while I'm just sitting and reading and enjoying myself on my day off. She's just applied for Britain Bakes, which is a great British baking show type of TV show. And she's kept it a secret from her husband. We're 75 pages in, and her husband still doesn't know that she applied for this show. He didn't know she was prepping for it. He ate one of her bakes because he didn't realize it was like for this contest. She's like making up excuses and lies to like go audition in person in London. It's just, I don't know. I am bothered. Like if someone has been with you for almost 60 years, you would think they would support you if you wanted to, you know, stretch yourself and go do something new. So I'm like not a huge fan of that. Plus the fact that it's a little bit slower of a read. So already not like a favorite of mine, but I feel like this is still a good book, and I feel like a lot of people would still really enjoy this, and we'll see kind of how it goes. I think because she just finished her in-person audition, so she was like in the finalists of being selected for this TV show. Hopefully we'll find out soon about her being selected in the process of that. I'm assuming she's selected to participate on the show. So I'm excited for things to get going. I also brought with me the shortbread cookies, so I can try one or two right now. I'm not sure how I'll like them. I do like shortbread. I don't have it very often. I'll let you know how they taste, and we'll get to reading. Shortbread, delicious, just what you would expect from a vanilla shortbread cookie. Okay, she's still refusing to tell her husband what's going on, and he's worried that she's got a health issue and keeping it a secret from him, like going to doctor's appointments without her and stuff. Like, he's concerned, and he asked her how her health was because he was concerned. And she said, no, I'm fine, my health is fine. But she still refuses to tell him what's actually happening. After almost 60 years together, she won't tell him that she's hoping to make it onto this baking show. I don't understand. Also, she keeps alluding to a secret, that she has one secret she's kept from her husband. And so adding another one, meaning her application to the baking show, she should never have done because she still has that one secret. I feel like I know what the secret is, even though there haven't been like a lot of hints. I just feel like it's probably very connected to what's happening in the story. I would be surprised if I was wrong at what the secret is. Scandalous backstory. Okay, at least she has now told her husband what's going on. I was really worried that the whole book would be spent her trying to keep this a secret, and I would get even more frustrated. So at least now he's in the know, and she's about to tell him all the details, and she's probably about to hear back if she was selected, which is exciting. Oh, yay. Oh, she made it, yay. Her husband says, I'll still love you even with the soggy bottom. If you watch Great British Baking Show, you know all about soggy bottoms. Aww, he loves her so much. She's just arrived at Britain Bakes. British Bakes? Britain Bakes. It's called Britain Bakes, this TV show. And so she is getting settled into the hotel. It's exciting, though we're almost 150 pages in. I'm really close to being able to open up my next skein of yarn. Definitely slower. We are almost halfway through the book. This is really sweet. She says, in many ways, she considered their relationship, like with her husband, her proudest recipe, and one which had been tweaked and modified over the course of a lifetime as they each grew a deeper understanding of the other. Knowing him so intuitively was part of the fibers of who she had become. Finished the first challenge, and it is copy and paste Great British Baking Show. So if you follow Great British Baking Show, then you'll feel very familiar with everything happening in this book, from the types of judges, like personality-wise, to even like the MC being a comedian, and the types of contestants, and the types of challenges that they have. It's a copy and paste, so nice and familiar read. Definitely a cozy general fiction type of a story. ready for the next skein. Oh, this is a fun color. This is rhubarb and custard drizzle cakes. Yummy, yummy, yummy. With all these food names, they are making me hungry. And all this talk of baking makes me want to cook, but I am not necessarily a baker, so I shouldn't start just because I'm reading a book about it. Jenny is making a really good show of it. She just finished the second week in the baking show. She is just the sweetest old lady. She's so thoughtful of everyone else, and it just warms my heart. But we have some potential foreshadowing, and I'm really nervous to see what happens. I'm on about page 200. Yeah, I'm about on page 200. The next skein I don't open until about page maybe 240, 250 if I remember correctly, on chapter 24. So I've got a little ways to go, but I've been reading a couple chapters here and there. Now it's time to make some dinner, but hopefully I can get to this later. Hello, hello. I am sitting outside on our little balcony, and it is so nice out. It's like 85 degrees, but it's in the shade over here. I've got a little bit of fresh air, and that's like perfect weather for me. So I've got Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame. I've just been putting in a couple chapters here and there, but I am on chapter 23, so I'm almost to the point of opening up skein number 3. So I'm hoping to open up that skein out here, and we'll see how far I read. Something that was kind of predictable but not good happened, and so I'm excited to see what happens next in the story. I've got like 100-ish pages to go, a little bit more than 100 to go, so I'm definitely gonna get to this next skein and then see how much longer I want to hang out here and just read. I got some editing done this morning. I definitely have some more editing to do for videos. I've got a lot of footage stockpiled at this point, so I gotta do some editing, but I'm enjoying a little break, had my lunch, and now I'm gonna read. Having a flashback, and she's knitting in the flashback. Yeah. Talking about her needles tapping together in a steady rhythm, adding a buttonhole on the 75th row. I'm trying to hide from the sun. It's starting to encroach on me. But what I really, really enjoy in this book is that each of the chapters is named after some kind of baked good that is usually, like almost always, pulled in from her past and incorporated it into like what she's currently making. She's baking it for a friend or for Bernard, her husband, or she's baking on the cooking show. So there's these parallels of baked goods that I am really enjoying. And this one was a cottage loaf, which I actually knew what that was because I've seen Great British Baking Show, but let's see what this yarn is. Cottage loaf. Hey, kitty cat. Gonna let me read my book? Right. Where are you going? Hi. Hello there, sweet boy. Can I read my book? Oh no. Alfred, let me read. Let me read. Let me read. All right, I'm out here earlier today and I have a day off from work, doing a lot of resting and recuperating and reading. I'm currently on page 283 out of like 364. So I've got maybe 80 pages left and I'm really excited. I'm gonna read a bunch, enjoy some of my shortbread cookies, and just kind of enjoy being outside. I'm here earlier in the morning, so hopefully the shadows will cover me for longer, because last time I was out just after lunch, and so I wasn't able to stay out too long until the sun came and got me. But right now I think I've got a while. It feels really nice in the shade, even though it's like high 80s already this morning. It's gonna be really hot this week, like high 90s, low 100s, and I'm not used to it. But I should be okay to read for a while, and then I have plans to do a little bit of baking. There's a few recipes at the back of this book, and so I'm gonna try one of them, but I do need to go to the grocery store and get a couple random ingredients that I couldn't find when I last went to the grocery store. So we're gonna try somewhere else and see if we can find what I'm looking for. But let's get right into this, read a little bit, and see what happens with this baking show. Alfred is very sad I didn't bring him outside with me. The competition has finished, and now it's maybe a couple months later, and they are presenting the TV show, I guess. Like, they're done with filming, they're done with editing, and they're premiering the show, and it's really, really fun to hear about the family seeing what was filmed, and like even like little Poppy is her great niece, and like her excitement, like, oh, they were here at your house filming. Like, it's just so fun to read this part of the actual TV series being aired with her family, and she's really embarrassed. Her big secret that we've known about a little bit of the ways through the book, and was definitely being alluded to even before we actually knew as a reader, has now been exposed to the world because of social media. Her secret's been exposed, so I only have a little bit left, maybe like 30 or 40 pages, and we'll find out, I guess, how Bernard hears about it and the repercussions of it, and if she gets any closure, which is exciting. But I'm gonna take a break, go to the grocery store really quick, and grab just a couple last ingredients for the recipe I'm hoping to bake from this book. We are celebrating my sister-in-law is coming back from being in California for a year and a half, serving a mission for my church, and so we're gonna have a bunch of family over just celebrating her at my in-laws house. And so I thought this would be a perfect little treat to make that is gluten-free, I'm pretty sure, because these are rice-based, which means that my mother-in-law can have some. So there are 2 recipes included at the end of this book, and they're both pretty simple, and they're not actually like traditional baking. Like, they're not a pastry or bread or cookie or anything like that. But one of them is kind of like a Rice Krispie treat but with toffees. One of them is like a no-bake cookie type of thing made with cornflakes and like syrup and chocolate and things like that. I think that the Rice Krispies will be faster, cheaper, because I didn't have to buy very many supplies compared to the other recipe. And with my braces, I feel like the Rice Krispies I may be able to have a little bit, though both of them are like not great treats for having braces. But I think that the Rice Krispie treats will be an easier crowd pleaser. So we are doing that one, because I also like Rice Krispies as a cereal. So I just need some butter, marshmallows, chewy toffee, and rice cereal, like Rice Krispies. I was able to find some of this English toffee bits, and I don't know if it's like necessarily chewy enough, but this is what I could find. I'm not making any toffee. That's what we got. Also, the recipe calls for unsalted butter, but I don't believe in unsalted butter, so I got more salted butter because we are actually running out. Normally we have a huge stash, and I need to go to Costco. We have this. Let's get baking. The whole recipe is in grams, ounces, cups, which is nice for whatever measurement you use, but it's like I need 7 ounces of toffee bits, and there's 8 ounces in my package. So I guess maybe in Great Britain they come in different allocations. Do I put in the extra ounce? Do I save it for later? I don't know. I need 7 ounces or 3 cups. Ish. I'm not gonna save a 1/4 cup of this. I'm just gonna pour it all in. Even it out with a few extra marshmallows. This isn't rocket science. Oh gosh. Oh, should I have like coated the pan with all the butter? Probably. This is gonna be a pain to clean. So I'm not like opposed to baking, but I'm not a baker like in my soul. Though this book is making me want to do more baking. So let me know down below, are you a big baker? Do you like to bake? Do you like to cook? I feel like when I'm inspired to make something really delicious, I enjoy my time in the kitchen a lot more. but I'm not necessarily inspired to spend my time doing that a lot because there's lots of other things that I've got going on. Though I do really like spending time with my husband in the kitchen. Whatever we're making, I really like when we can like share the tasks and do it together, but with a 3-year-old in tow, sometimes we can't have both of us away from her and like working on food. Jenny, our main character in our book, is making pavlova as they were watching Britain Bakes, and I think it'd be really fun to make pavlova. It sounds really tasty, a great summer treat, but that would be also a big stretch. So who knows how it would turn out. To be determined whether or not I try my hand at pavlova one of these days. All right, room temperature time, and time to soak these dishes. Her secret's worse than I thought. Hormones, man. And our final skein. 33. Oh, ooh! Diamond wedding anniversary cake. Oh my gosh, so many fun speckles. You can even see a little bit coming out of here too. So many fun colors. Oh, I was confused about the colors for a second. But the diamond anniversary wedding cake she made had like edible flowers of all sorts of colors because it was a marriage of passions. Her passion of baking and then his passion of gardening. This is such a sweet and tender book. And I'm PMSing, so I'm like, really easy for me to cry right now. Oh my gosh. And so these special Rice Krispies from the book actually turned out really good. They are hard to eat, but mostly, like, they're hard to eat for me with my braces, mostly just because they're so thick. So if they were thinner, they'd be easier. They're still plenty chewy and, like, fall apart when you bite into them. They're not super tough or hard, but they smell so good because of the toffee bits. And they're gluten-free, which is nice, so my mother-in-law can have them. We've already eaten about half of them, so thumbs up for this recipe. I think I would do this again. We have finished our book for the Woolberry Fiber Co. Summer Book Society box. So that means we're moving on to making our project. I thought I would share with you what I've done in the past so you can see what my vision is for these colors. So I've gotten the winter box and the spring box already. I'll make sure to link those videos up above and down below so you can see. But I am doing a modified version of the Astrid Blanket by Mallory Crawl. It's modified because I added an extra round around all the granny squares so that I can include all 4 colors from each box within the same square so that they all are like portrayed together, and that way I can see like a winter square or a summer square or whatever instead of having all the colors all mixed up, just to see the color palettes that Bethany put together for these boxes and just to kind of keep things a little bit more organized and intentional. So let's look at first the winter box. I have a lot more yarn to work through. I haven't really worked on these very much, like at all. I think this one is the first square I did for the winter box. So you can see I've got all 4 colors from the box. The first color, second color, third color, and fourth color. And for subsequent squares, I'm keeping that same order from center outward. So this is second, third, fourth, first, so that all the colors are in the same location in relation to one another. And so that's just making it easier for me to have matching squares so that they all coordinate together, but they're not 100% completely random. It's easier for me to keep track of how many squares I have of different configurations, so I have an even number of each configuration. It just made sense to me to do it a little less than randomly, but to have some variety. So I've also got this square and this square. These are all my winter squares. So I'm going to use up the yarn I have to make as many squares as I can in these configurations. But I haven't done that for my winter squares. I need to catch up on that. But I have done it for my spring squares. So I have a lot of squares done. I've used up all my yarn. I have finished about half of them, totally weaving an end and everything. I think this is the first one. It's hard to remember because I opened the box and I crocheted the squares really quickly, but I think this was the first configuration. First, second, third, fourth skeins. Here's a little sampling of all of the squares for the spring box. Such a fun palette. That's what I'm going to be doing with these yarns, so I'm going to wind them up and then get started on crocheting. I don't think I'm going to crochet all the squares before I finish this video, but I'm going to crochet at least one of each configuration to show you what they'll look like. Should we do a transition? All right, time to conclude this box and my experience reading Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame by Olivia Ford and crocheting from Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Summer Book Box. So let's talk about the book first, as I've had a few days to kind of think about my rating and how I felt about it and who I would recommend this book to. Overall, I rated this a 4-star. I thought it was a really fun, cozy read. It was very atmospheric, especially if you like baking. There's a lot of really descriptive text about the sights and smells and sounds related to baking and just kind of immersing you in that baking experience and in what Jenny is experiencing, which is really cool. I did feel like the story itself was not superbly meaningful. There was definitely some deeper meaning and some heartfelt moments, but overall it wasn't groundbreaking or like huge character growth. There was character growth, but not phenomenally so, if that makes sense. It was nice and gentle and definitely something that would be good if you're not looking for a soul-searching type of a book, but it was very heartfelt and I definitely had moments that made me tear up, that made me cry, that made me gasp a little bit. And so it was definitely a really enjoyable read for me. I thought it was really cool how this author had each chapter was named for a type of bake. And in almost every chapter, there was like the flashback scene from the moment when Jenny was younger, that bake was a part of, either something she was making, something that someone gifted to her, or a bake she was thinking about in this like past timeline, as well as how that bake was incorporated into the current timeline, whether it was part of the baking competition or something she made her friends or family or things like that. So I thought that was like a really cool parallel. So speaking of like the past and present timelines, I felt like the past timeline was very predictable and almost felt tedious because even from the very beginning of the story, I could kind of guess what horrible secret that she had kept for 60 years from Bernard. And I could see where the story was going, and it just took forever for that story to unfold. And so that was like a little bit tedious. I definitely like the more present timeline a lot better than the past timeline, even though the past timeline was not as significant as the present timeline. It still felt a little bit long. I also felt like the baking show that was a part of this book was too similar to the Great British Baking Show. So if you like the Great British Bake Off, you would really like this book, I feel like. But I just wanted it to be a little bit different. I wanted it to be unique. I wanted to be getting more out of my experience rather than just coming back to something that is literally identical to the Great British Bake Off. It just felt like all the challenges were the same idea, the contestants, like the location of things. It felt so similar, but too much so. Like, you want that cozy, comfortable feeling of something familiar, but you want it to be a little bit unique and fun and fresh, and it didn't feel fresh at all. So that was just like a personal thing. I could definitely see some people would love this. They would eat it up. They would want to read this super badly, and they would rate it a 5-star. For me, I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. 4-star. I feel like it had a lot of good points to it, but I also feel like it wasn't a perfect read for me and was definitely missing some things that I feel like could have made it perfect for me. I never would have thought about this book. I don't think I've even seen it talked about, and so it was really fun to be able to read this book as part of this box because I never would have picked this up otherwise, and it was really a darling book, and I definitely will recommend this to people that I know. I feel like if you're looking for a cozy baking related general fiction story, there's like a little bit of drama, but not really. It's more just about like getting to know the characters and enjoying the experience of the baking. And so if that sounds like something you would like, I think that you would like this book. I'm gonna try to get my mother-in-law to read this. I think she would really enjoy this book. I think you don't have to be a baker to enjoy reading this cozy baker story, but it will definitely make you want to do some baking if you need some motivation. It's very inspiring. And for this yarn, I've already shown you that I did the first 4 squares, one of each of the 4 configurations. Honestly, I think this is my favorite color palette of all 3 boxes I've had before. I just love all these colors together. They just scream summer to me. And I think really it has to do with these two. This one is lemon meringue pie. Such a beautiful color I remember seeing. Oh, but this one, rhubarb and custard drizzle cakes. It's so yummy. It's so yummy. Oh my goodness. And then the other 2 are like nice neutrals to kind of even it out. We've got cottage loaf. And then the diamond anniversary cake. What's this color called? Yeah, diamond wedding anniversary cake. And the speckles are so fun to see them pop up. I love it. I'm a huge fan. I feel like this has been my favorite box as far as the yarn goes and how it all works together. And I am just really excited to work with these colors. They just make me so happy. If I had to pick a favorite, I would probably pick the rhubarb drizzle cake one just because it looks so edible and delicious, but I think the lemon meringue pie is a very close second. I haven't had a chance to use all of the goodies that came in the box because I have these really cute needle stoppers, but I'm working on a crochet project, so I don't need needle stoppers. I didn't end up drinking the tea because it is caffeinated and I try not to drink caffeinated tea. I'm just gonna bring it to work and share it with my coworkers because it looks like it might be pretty tasty. And I enjoyed the shortbread actually. I've eaten about half of them already. They've been a nice little snack to have. And the plate is too cute. I have like this itty bitty collection of like really cute plates that just bring me a lot of joy and just make a snack feel so much more special. So adding that to the collection for sure. All that to say, I've loved Woolberry Fabric Co.'s book boxes, and I really love that I can join my love for yarn and my love for reading all together. I can explore some books that I would not have picked up otherwise and that I really enjoyed and were perfect atmospheric for this time of year and this yarn too. Bethany does a really good job at translating feelings and vibes into yarn, and so doing her mystery boxes are a really fun way to like let her stretch that artistic talent of hers. If you're willing to get any like mystery boxes, I feel like Woolberry Fabric Co.'s are always like really a big hit vibe-wise. I did sign up for the fall box. That is the last box in this little series of Book Society boxes. There's one for every season. And once I finish the fall box, I'm going to be completing all the rest of these squares and getting ready to join all of these squares together. I don't know if I'm going to do a random pattern of colors or I'm going to try to organize it in any particular way. Maybe I'll try to do it random. I really don't know, but I'm really excited to see how this blanket's going to turn out. I probably should order my yarn fairly soon because I would love to finish this project by the end of the year. So you should expect at least 2 more vlogs from me, one for the fall box and my experience reading and my experience opening that box, reading that book, and crocheting with that yarn, as well as one more vlog to kind of finish out the year and finish out this project as I finish weaving in the ends on all of these squares and start joining them together and completing the final blanket. Really excited for what's to come, and as each box comes, to be making a lot more progress on this big project, and it's brought me a lot of joy to have something to crochet on, something that's fast and lets me experience these beautiful yarns and coordinate them all together in one big project that I'm really excited for. Make sure to check out my other videos if you haven't watched my winter and my spring book box videos. I'll make sure to link them down below. And until next time, happy reading and happy making.